I'm alive. All right. I'm alive. I hope you're alive. And welcome to the show. My name is John Clinebell. I'm here for a little music industry news and a little song feedback. Make music your business, everybody. How's it going? It's Thursday, sort of the beginning of November. I think it's the second week, right? This year is just like flown by. This year has flown by. And I just can't believe it. We're almost here, and I'm moving. I'm moving in like 3 weeks, but I'm not moving out of Nashville. I'm just moving to another part of town. But in the weeks to come, this studio situation is going to get a little fluid. I'm going to be putting stuff in boxes and all that stuff, but still planning to show up every week and be here with you live on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and very excited to be here. Don't forget to say hi if you're here. Let me know you're here. It's always better when it's like interactive. Also experimenting with streaming it live into our Sync It Facebook group. So hello to everybody who's in Sync It. And yeah, so this is the showy show. This is the music business talk show, and also down to do some feedback on songs if people pop in and they want feedback on their music. I will drop in the banner. Let's see. Here's the banner. If somebody does want to submit a song, that's where you go to do it. Again, it's just crazy to me. It's November. How is this possible? By the way, these hats that I've been wearing and Sonnet's been wearing, actually, Sonnet doesn't have this one yet. This has the multicolored gradient on the logo, but these hats are going to be ready to go very soon. So we're going to be placing, well, we already placed the order, but they're going to be available for you to order very soon. Hey, Faketa. Hey, Facebook user. It's not showing me any like info on the people who are here. It's funny. Facebook user. Welcome, whoever you are. Feel free to drop your name in if you like. I have a feeling it's some of the usuals here every week, but hey, I'm here. Let's see what's going on. So part of this, what I really want to be doing moving forward is really diving into music industry news, because I feel like there's so much stuff that goes on that we never really talk about as a community, because this is a very sync focused education company that Sonnet and I run, but the licensing does not exist in a vacuum. Licensing is a part of the larger overall music industry. And for us to just talk about licensing without talking about all the other stuff that's important, then we're really kind of being negligent, I feel. And we're really missing the big picture. So definitely going to dive into some news and want to be doing that more and more as this goes on. I do want to pop in though and check. So first off, let me know how you're doing. What are you working on? Are you working on anything? Is there any news that you've heard that you feel is really important for independent artists to know about? Drop it in. Drop it in the chat. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, John Clinebell. I'm an independent producer and songwriter here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the co-founder of 2Indie along with Sonnet Simmons. And for everything that we do, you can just go to 2indie.com and you can find out all the information about that. Let's see here. I'm going to go in first and check to see, let's see, submissions. Here we go. This is this. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Funny, the form I think still says Clubhouse. Oh no, that's an old form. Dope. Submissions. I'll find it. All right. What's up? Good to be here. Hey Jenna, how you doing? Jenna. If you do have something to say, there's a high likelihood that I'll pop it up on the screen too. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Where is the spreadsheet of songs? We do have a spreadsheet of songs here. Submissions. Okay. Thanks for hanging with me here for a second. I'm just trying to get this to the right page because I can't seem to just find it. It's weird. Okay, that's not the right one. Here we go. Found it. All right. Got it. Let's see what's going on here. Any new submissions? Nope, nothing super new. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So since I don't see anything super new in here, what I'd like to do is I'd like to jump in on some music industry news. I looked everywhere for a Mute Yourself hat during the 6FS, but alas, I could not find one. Actually, somebody made a custom Mute Yourself hat for me. Just a little, I don't want to take a little while to explain it, but to anybody who's like, what's Mute Yourself? So when I was teaching for Catch the Moon, I was teaching a course called Six Figure Songwriting, and I was teaching using Zoom before anybody really knew what Zoom was back in like 2018. And it was a thing where back then I was teaching like 300 people at a time, and it would get kind of crazy. Everybody was constantly unmuting themselves, and I don't think they had the controls quite as easy to find to just mute everybody. So I literally was saying like, mute yourself, mute yourself. And then somebody at the taxi conference that year, actually from Australia, had a custom hat made that said mute yourself, and they gave it to somebody else from Australia who was coming to Los Angeles for the taxi convention, and they gave the hat to me in person, and I was there with like 15 students of mine in taxi. It was really funny. It was a moment. Where do we drop our songs? So if you go to 2indie.com/listening session, you can get the you'll have the address. The address to the form will be emailed to you. So, hi everybody, welcome to the call. I'm going to do some screening of songs in a little bit here, but I am going to start also going into some industry news because there's tons of stuff that I want to talk about, and definitely want to make this like part of what I'm doing every week is just talking about what's going on in the industry, because I feel like it's very important for us as independent artists and producers to know about what's happening. And also we have opinions about things too. So I'd like to talk about that as well. Let's see what's going on here. So, just a heads up. This is interesting. So there are, YouTube. So the first thing I want to talk about is that YouTube has started a program where you can reserve a handle. So for anybody who has a YouTube channel, like we do, you can reserve a handle. So make sure to do that. If you're an artist, you haven't set up an account yet, it's free to do with YouTube. And I would suggest strongly doing that anyways, because YouTube Shorts, Gary Vee says that YouTube Shorts is the next TikTok. So we all know when Gary Vee says something to just start running. I like the screen border branding, very cool and clean. Yeah, it's like I feel like it's coming along. Like I feel like it was a little too cluttered these last few weeks when it had like a little bit of copy here in the corner. I think I am at some point going to put something up at the top of the screen, and I think I am going to call this show the Make Music Your Business Show, but I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to do that or not yet. So, but when I do that, whenever I decide what I'm permanently going to call this show, it's probably going to go up top. Let's see. Where do we drop our songs? Yeah, you already said that. It was crazy, but such good times, right? Totally. It was crazy back then, and like pre-pandemic. All right. So what's up? Let's see what's happening in the music world. Let's talk about some stuff here. So I'm gonna do some screen sharing here. Let's see. There we go. Share the screen. And we're going to go to this here window. Does this work? Interesting. Okay. I think this will work. All right. So first thing to know. So for anybody who does DIY on their song distribution, Anybody in the chat do that? I've got a DistroKid account, and I love them. But there's other ones. There's TuneCore. There's CD Baby. There's a bunch of them that I don't even know the name of, I'm sure. But DistroKid does really awesome stuff, and it looks like they've now partnered with a company called Social Phone, or I'm not sure if Social Phone is the company or if this is just, I think they're licensing from them, because I actually started setting it up and then it had me set up an account, try to set an account for a third-party software. But what this is it's a way for you to collect phone numbers, to get your fans' phone numbers, and then you can text them directly, which is pretty dope. And this is a thing that I like to talk about, and it's really important to have a direct line to your fans. The thing that sucks about social media is so weird, by the way. I have like the most viral post that I've ever had in my whole life, and it was like a 7-second reel that I did on Ghostbusters. There's this guy downtown in Nashville that was walking around in like a Egon Spangler full Ghostbusters getup, but it was like a homemade one, and it was a really convincing looking one. And I just kind of, first off, just like was talking with him, and then he started just walking with like a purpose ahead of me in the street, and I kind of like ghosted him a little, or followed him a little bit, and was kind of getting a really cinematic look of him like kind of beelining somewhere. And then I put that like the Ray Parker song to the like, I know who you gonna call, Ghostbusters. And that thing has like, it's like almost over, I think it's well over 30,000 plays. And that's like, I'm not like big on social media as an artist or anything like that, but it's just so weird. Like sometimes the things that really you tap into, it's like, it seems kind of random to me sometimes. But getting to the point of this is that, social media, you're really at their whim. They're the ones who decide. They throttle your traffic. They decide how many people can see what it is that you're posting. Versus, what if you, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out why this window is so big. Okay. There we go. That's better. So versus having control of your own destiny when it comes to stuff, having direct relationship with people. So it's way better to have email, or I would say phone is probably way better than even email, because even now what I'm seeing is that email. So two things that are kind of alarming to me about email. It's great to have an email list as an independent artist, but here's a couple of things that I'm seeing recently that are kind of alarming. First off, deliverability rate. It seems like more and more stuff is getting thrown into spam, or if you have something like Gmail, and I'm sure some of the other email service providers are doing similar things to what Gmail is doing, but I use Gmail, so I just notice what they do. And Gmail, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of people who use Gmail. And one thing I'm noticing is that a lot of the emails are going into like the promotional folder, or the, it's like the promotions or the social or the updates versus your primary. So there's different tabs when you open up your email. And I'm seeing it's becoming kind of an alarming thing how often like something that's valuable to me is getting put into like promotions. And the thing that tells me is that, and I'm somebody who believes in a zero inbox. So if you have a zero inbox, then the thing that can be really weird about that is if you just got to assume that like almost nobody has a zero inbox these days. It's like the people who actually stay on top of their email, it's a very small number of people. There are people that, and it's fine. I'm not judging anybody. But, some people just email's not that important to them. So they might check only one tab. And then if they only check one tab, they figure, promotions, I don't want to even read that. So then your email could get buried in there and it never gets read. Versus like a text. If you get a text, it's like, and we all get junk texts, right? But no matter whether it's a junk text or it's just a text from your friend or whoever it is, you're going to get that text. Like the text it pops into your phone and you always read it. Versus an email, it could get lost. So I would say texting is better than social media, and it's also better than email. So, and here's another thing with email that's kind of tough is that, so email, I've also noticed one thing that Gmail does is it's like, if you haven't opened an email from somebody, if you're on their list and you haven't opened an email from them in like 2 or 3 months, it now says, hey, we've noticed you haven't opened an email from this person in, I think it's like 90 days. Would you like to unsubscribe? So it's literally now asking you in the email client if you want to unsubscribe from the list. So that's another thing that's kind of alarming about email. But I would say that email is better than social media, but texting is going to be even better. So here's a cool thing. Like, they have it built in right in here into DistroKid. You can set up an account. I can't remember how much it costs, but you're able to, through this application, to be able to have direct conversations with all your fans and do it in like one place. Texts have a 98% open rate. I don't doubt that in the least. So pretty cool stuff, pretty cool. All right, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about was that. Let's see, what's next? What is this? Why your pitch songs aren't getting recorded. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's every once in a while I get articles and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to read this and see what this is all about. So let's give this a read. Okay. So why your pitch songs aren't getting recorded. Over the last few years, and now much more so on a weekly and daily basis, I continually hear from other publishers and other professional songwriters that we need an artist in the room and that the pitch game is dead. It's over. Finito. When you say the pitch game, talking about professional writers and producers creating songs with the intent of pitching to other artists. The purpose is for those artists to record and release the said song. So he's saying the pitch game's dead. If you're writing the wrong types of songs, yeah, I mean, that's obvious. Unfortunately, in my opinion, about 85% of professional songwriting community at any point in time is writing the wrong types of songs. I mean, honestly, my professional opinion on it is that you're not a professional songwriter if you're not making a substantial part of your living songwriting. And if you're not landing cuts or landing syncs or, getting paid to come in and write on stuff, then, yeah, it's professional songwriting community, but you're not a part of this professional songwriting community if you're not writing the right types of songs, is all I'm saying. This is why your calls and emails aren't getting returned. So basically he's just saying like, hey, write better music. Write better songs. It's always a writer's market if you're that writer. So he's talking about like the top 20 writers that get all the work. What you create and who you are, where you are in your career, and the level of cuts and co-writes you release is literally a direct reflection of who you've decided to consciously or unconsciously be. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what this means. You're also tired of writing tired vibes of songs that might be comfortable to you and other co-writers. This article is really like going all over the place. Embrace the fringe or the fresh. So I think what he's trying to say is that if you keep going down the same road, if you keep doing the same thing and you're not getting any results, you shouldn't be surprised that you get the same results, which is true in anything in life, right? So he's saying like embrace the fringe or fresh. You are the A&R person. Well, the thing is you have to know what it is that they're looking for, and you have to be able to think about like who their audience is more than anything and what they would actually want to release and cut, Yeah. Again, I don't think this is rocket science. Sometimes, I might just stop reviewing these articles because I feel like so many of these articles are just like some kind of, it's just an article just for SEO content or something like that, because there's really not a lot of value in the article itself. I mean, I do think it's good to kind of track outside of what it is that you're comfortable doing. Yeah, this is cool. I think this thing about where he's talking about the pro writing microcosm of songs, 1,000 songs written per day, sounding mostly in the same safe zone. I think that's something I definitely agree with, is that you got to be willing to write music and take chances. You got to take chances on things. And it's better to be different than to be better, I think, too. Is I think part of it, because if you're at the same level, once you hit a certain threshold of quality, then it's about like, is it different? Because you're gonna reach a point where like everybody is at this level of being good, and it's at like the 90th percentile or wherever, however high you need to go in terms to be in contention. But then it's like, are you doing something that everybody else is doing, or are you bringing something that is fresh and different and exciting? Entrance ticket songs. An entrance ticket song is one that's so good that the A&R person will immediately send it to their artist. Interesting. The result should be the artist saying, I need to record the song tomorrow and book me 2 weeks with this person. I mean, I think this is interesting. It's like, I think what this writer is saying, it's like, he's saying, Benjamin Groff is saying, you have to be the best. And your quality of your work has to be so high that everybody is like, I got to work with this person. But this article does a lot of talking about like what you have to be, without giving us any insights into like how you actually get there. But you have to deliver the motherfucking goods. All right, so I'm going to see if so comfort zone, where the magic happens. And even makes fun of like the fact that it takes so long to get to something of value here. Now here's the important part of this blog post. I know, finally something really important, right? Below are some prompts and ideas to set you forward in what I'm talking about, as far as song concepts and a plan on how you will no longer compete with the competition. Creating your own lane. Yeah, now this is something that Sonnet and I talk about a lot. It's like, there is a lot of opportunity in the music industry, but if you're trying to get into the same door that everybody else is going into, and if you're trying to travel along the same road that everybody else is traveling on, you're probably going to be finding yourself super frustrated. But the good news is that there's a lot of things that you can do in the music industry once you just get inside and see that it's kind of like a music conference or a music convention of some kind. Once you actually get in the door and you realize there's like 1,000 different directions you could go, it's actually like a pretty fun thing to do, and you can kind of choose your own adventure in the music industry. But and I think it works in songwriting as well. Let's see, song concepts and out of the box direction. If I was a professional songwriter today, I'd build a list of concepts. Wait, is this guy a songwriter? He said, if I was a professional songwriter. So is this guy a songwriter? I'm not sure. I mean, it sounds like he is. Just different direction type songs and stockpile those. Let's take a look. This would be my conceptual song start palette if I wasn't a writer. Is this guy not a writer? The Police meets hip hop, or question mark. Goth 80s a la The Cure, New Order, London After Midnight, dark music is always in. Miami bass style, New Jack Swing style. Pretend you're writing a song for Michael Jackson's Thriller album. 80s hair metal. Motown. I mean, these are like interesting. I guess if you're trying to write something that's in pop and you have to pick something, I guess. I don't know. I'm not seeing like that this is, how about something a la the Cars? How is this really like going out of the zone though? To me is the question that I would ask. I mean, these are, any of these could be interesting ideas, but the writing still has to be really good. Like, I don't know, something unexpected. No snooze bombs. We need up tempo fire. Average tempo of a hit song based on top 20 bestsellers each year. I mean, yeah, I mean, they're mostly up tempo. I don't know. I also think that, like, you can say, oh, your tempo, if it doesn't hit this, then it's not going to work. It's just interesting that people, it's like, oh, you got to create all these fucking rules. And it's like, it works sometimes, but it doesn't a lot of the time. Rules are meant to be broken. And I would say that any of the rules that you learn about in songwriting, the most important rule is to throw all the rules out. But it does help to know what the rules in the sandbox kind of is, so that you can be intelligent about the way that you throw out the, jump out of the sandbox. Okay, so I've given you almost 20 awesome song start ideas that all sound like they're from the 80s, by the way. It's just fucking hilarious to me. From each direction idea, you can start your next session with a predetermined level of awesomeness and originality. I don't know. Write your song blueprint. Write a blueprint on a song? Huh. I've never actually written a blueprint on a song. Blueprint? What does that even mean? A 200 to 500 word blueprint of each of these concepts. Get very, very specific and write out exactly what this song sounds like from your imagination. I don't agree with this, because I feel part of the reason those styles work a certain way that they do, when we were looking at that list of ideas that he came up with, the reason those 80s bands have those iconic sounds is because they do things a certain way. They have certain guitar tones and they have certain drum sounds, and to just let it come out from your imagination is probably not going to be the best way to go about it if you're really trying to get something that's heavily influenced from those sounds. It's going to be better to go in and listen to what actually is working on those songs, your references, and then work backwards from there. I would argue that it's less creative to do it this way, because then you're just kind of going into the production and the writing with a predetermined idea, when I think that the ultimate creativity is just like getting into it and saying, okay, we're doing this. This is our reference. Start getting the beat going. And, as is often the case in modern production, and just kind of let it go, get creative. I mean, this said, try it out, I can't see myself ever trying this out though, because it seems just kind of it seems unnecessary is the point. Now, I have a list of ideas. I do keep a list of ideas. I think it's a great idea to keep a list of song title ideas. And in that, I also have like song concepts. Like, I'll write down some song concepts. I have like a list of probably like 30 or 40 of those that are just there. And when I'm doing a writing session, I'll just pop that open. I also have like tons of stuff on my phone. You always use your phone for that kind of stuff. It can be fun. What else is going on here? This article is really fucking long, by the way. Like I said, I feel like this song is, or this article is more about like just SEO content or something like that than actual like helpful information. The songs I need more of playlist. No matter at any time in my executive, okay, so this guy's an executive. He's not a songwriter. At any time in my executive career, no matter what publishing company I was at, I would be lucky. I mean, lucky if I had a song even once a year that crossed my desk as good as one of these on this playlist. keep in mind here that each of these records is at least $20 million plus a song. Is that really how much people are spending on recording nowadays? Seems pretty high. I mean, maybe that's how much it costs to record some of these. I don't know what songs are on these playlists. What's on this playlist? Let's see what's on it. Songs I need more of it. Yeah, I mean, these are all good songs. All hits, right? Okay. I mean, I'd like to have more songs like that. But you can you use one of the songs in that playlist to learn thoroughly? I mean, really play your instrument and transcribe it, dissecting all the nuances. All right, so now he's talking about like doing some ear training, doing some reference research, and this is valuable stuff. Yeah, I think it's a good exercise. I agree too, Facebook user. I feel like you can get really lost in it. If you make it too complicated, then it actually stops being fun. All this stuff. All right. Yeah, I mean, this is stuff that Sonnet and I teach about in terms of like things that you want to be listening for. It's actually like when we do our listening sessions, we're actually listening for this kind of stuff too. It's actually kind of like the checklist that goes on in our head as we're listening to something, because we've, to a certain extent or another, mastered trying to incorporate these things into our own writing. And then it's important to be able to articulate that because it's the way that decision makers are thinking as well. Even if sometimes Jenna, yeah, sorry, I don't know why it just keeps saying like Facebook user. It's so funny. It just says Facebook user. So I'm just scraping the surface here. Model your own greatness from this song. I'm not saying rip it off, but can you tap into the greatness happening here? What makes this song tick? And then ultimately be mentored by that writer, producer, artist you love and be inspired by that. Interesting. So, I would say, one exercise I really highly recommend to people who have a hard time, they're having a hard time making music that, and especially with writing, they're having a hard time writing in a style that is relevant and feels modern. If they're trying to write in a modern genre, is to literally just go grab the karaoke version of whatever hit songs you really want to be inspired by, and then using the original top line, create your own top line that almost completely matches the rhythmic cadence of the vocal, the dynamics. Isn't the exact same melody. It's your own writing. It's your own melody, but you use like everything else that they're doing as a top liner. You basically mimic what they're doing, and you can learn a lot from that. Let's see. I'm starting to get bored by this. Blueprint. The Firemaker hit song Blueprint. A locked-in melodic rhythm that is repeated. This is the DNA of hits. I mean, you do want to have a hook to your songs. Every hit song has a hook. So it's, oh no. Every single one of these goes to another article that I'm pretty sure is like 4 pages long. That's what makes me think that that these articles are not written necessarily to deliver information, but more to create a like kind of an SEO attraction net for the search engines and to get people kind of wrapped up in the content. Producer's hook. I don't know. Each song concept and title that evokes an emotion. Up tempo. All right, this is what makes me feel this is all just a sales pitch. And you know what? First, I literally just gave you the promised land. I just opened the door to your $1 million house in the hills. Anybody who says that, the music industry is not about like, if we were really all about like getting that house in the hills, there's a lot easier ways to do it than do it in the music industry. But you can make a living in the music industry. I've been doing it for years now. But it's like, this line here is just, it's kind of nauseating to me. All right. Yeah, I think I'm done with this article. Wow, that really sapped a lot out of me. Let me see if I can find something a little more interesting to dive into here. What is this? Fan study by Spotify. Let's look at some other stuff here. That was an event that I was going to announce. I also was trying to announce events. Actually, Teenage Engineering is always doing such cool stuff. They've got some new crazy expensive accessories. They just released this thing that's freaking crazy. It's like a series of dolls. They're like it's like 8 dolls that I'm serious about this. There's like 8 dolls that are each one is from a different country, and it has like a different voice. So these little wooden dolls, they sing, and they kind of sound robotic, and they sing Christmas songs, is what they're programmed to do. And they cost $250 a piece. So if you buy all 8 of them, which will run you about $2,000, then you can set them all up and they'll sing Christmas carols to you. That's what they're selling right now. I love Teenage Engineering stuff, but it cracks me up to see all these things. I'm sure these all cost like $100. Teenage Engineering makes really dope stuff. I don't know if I want to go through all that right now. Don't want to go through that. Let's see. What else is happening in the music industry? That was another California Copyright Conference, by the way, is a good, that's a good organization to follow because they do workshops every month. These are more workshops I was going to talk about, but those are from a past time. Let's see. Types of royalties. Let's see. Understanding the sync world. Maybe talk about that later. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, maybe I'll talk about that a little later. That was another thing I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry, I'm going through these now. I should have done this before the call started, but so here's one thing to know. Hey, let's talk about this. So I got something. Let's talk about this. So Spotify for Artists has this cool thing where you can create a personalized video message for your fans in 2023. 2022, not 23. But you can create a custom message that I think will get delivered to them. It's from what it sounds like. And then for an opportunity to be featured in your fans' 2022 Wrapped experience on Spotify. Record a vertical under 30-second thank you video in a standard mobile device. It looks like everybody's got 8 days to do this. So make sure your video has no music, singing, or lyrics, no explicit content. Upload via Spotify for Artists in the app or desktop page. And it looks like you can set up, you can link your Shopify store to Spotify for Artists. Shopify is a really easy way to get merch up and going. Yeah, and it's pretty cheap. But the thing is, like, setting up merchandise, if you're not selling enough merchandise, then you're going to be paying every month for it. So just keep that in mind. But it's cool that they're letting you do that. You can highlight your upcoming shows. You can set up do contributions via PayPal, via one of the fundraising partners. Awesome. You can do contributions to charitable things. And yeah, it looks like that's the thing, is like getting ready for the Wrapped, get ready for Wrapped. Actually, I need to do this because I've had more plays this year than I have had in any other previous year. So I got to get going on this as well. I got 8 days to do it, to create that 30-second message, that video message to your fans. So now's the time to do it. I'm going to put that aside because I will use that later. I can't do another article of his. I can't. I already tortured myself doing one. All right, so this looks cool. I missed this one this year, but Nashville has a film festival and they had like a sync thing that looked pretty dope. But I missed it and I didn't get the chance to tell you all about it either. What is that? Ooh, Soundtrap. We'll talk about that a little later. What else? Is there any other quick hits? Oh, this looks interesting. I can't remember where I got this link. The American Music Fairness Act would bring more fairness to our industry by ensuring music creators are compensated for the use of their work on AM/FM radio. The American Music Fairness Act would ensure performers and rights owners are compensated when their songs are played on terrestrial radio while exempting truly small independent stations. What is that again? Performers and rights holders are compensated when their songs are played on terrestrial radio while exempting truly small independent stations. And by creating a terrestrial radio performance right here in the US, the American Music Fairness Act would also ensure performers are paid when their work is played on radio overseas. Interesting. I thought that don't artists get performance royalties for radio airplay? Am I just like tripping? I always thought that performers got performance royalties from radio airplay. Is that not the case? Weird. Maybe it's one of those things where radio stations they're still like one of those things where they're a quote unquote public service, even though they really aren't. They're mostly all for profit. I thought you got performance royalties from radio station airplay because that's a performance, right? It's a public performance. But maybe it's like more fair. I want to see like if there's more information about this. What is this American Music Fairness Act? Let me see if I can open it, if I can find any more information about it. I like to know what's going on with it, you know. Let's see, the AFM, American Music Fairness Act. All right, let's check this out. Let's pull this in over here and put this here. Let's give this a look. Our broken system has let AM/FM stations get away with refusing to pay performers when they play their music. Weird. They get no... That's not a performance? That's not a public performance? That seems really unfair. Yeah, that's really unfair. All right, well, I'm going to sign this petition as soon as I am done here, because and I hope you all do too. I'm actually going to drop the link in here for that, because there's like something needs to happen. Please sign. Boom. So yeah, I just dropped the link in there for anybody who wants to support this. I would definitely do that, because I had no idea that, you know, it just seems crazy to me that radio stations aren't, you know, I thought that was a public performance. Mixed templates. Let's see what else is going on in here. Music industry toolbox. These were like some cool things that I wanted to talk about, but I never did get, because it was taking so long to get through the listening stuff that I never got the chance to talk about any of these things. Let's see. Oh, I see. Some MLC stuff, some Pond 5 stuff. Oh, let's see what's going on with the new Apple Music for Artists. What's going on here? We've amped things up on Apple Music for Artists on the web, introducing new features that give you the power to manage your Apple Music content. This updated experience gives you access to a new set of options to personalize your artist page, Simple, quick way to upload lyrics, view all your analytics. So they gave it a new look, it looks like. Navigating your profile. Maybe they did a little bit of UI interface kind of stuff. Artist content, more control of your Apple Music presence. So it looks like they're doing some things to try to lockstep with Spotify and analytics and stuff. Doesn't look like they're doing anything super revolutionary here, but it does look like they reskinned it a little bit and gave it some more functionality, perhaps. Let me just check. I got to take a look here real quick and see where we're at. Oh, awesome. We got some songs dropped in. So I'm going to I'm definitely going to give a couple songs a listen here. So I'm going to transition to that right now. Thanks. Just still trying with this show. Let me stop the screen here. Welcome, everybody. Just doing a little reset here. This is the Make Music Your Business show. Trying to figure out what we're calling this thing, but maybe we'll go with that. I was also going to say just call it the Showy Show, but yeah, I'm your host, John Clinebell. I'm an independent songwriter and producer in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a co-founder of 2Indie. I've had a lot of success licensing my music to film, television, and ads, and we offer a wide variety of programs to help independent artists to get the wins. You can find out all about what we do at 2indie.com. And we have a lot of free resources as well as awesome private communities that help people to really take that next step. So please join us if you haven't joined us yet. And without further ado, let me try to get in here and listen to some songs. So let's see, where are we with this? Okay, good. Got that all set up. There's a couple things that are different about this Streamlabs setup. It's a little slower for me to... Hey, Bob, I see that you uploaded 3 songs. So the way that works when we do these listening sessions, it's usually just one song per session. So I'm going to play the last song that you submitted. Looks like it's a Spotify link. And let me just play this here for you, Bob. Appreciate you submitting a track. Let me see if we can get it going here. All right. Starts with a kiss. Cool. Let's see. All right, I'm just going to give some feedback here. And this is all based on just, my opinion in terms of how it could work for licensing. And that's all I got to say. Also, just like take my feedback for what it's worth. And, there's a lot of opinions out there. Take what you like, leave the rest. I hope you keep making music and all that stuff. So never want anybody to feel like deflated or anything like that with any feedback. It's always just like trying to be helpful. So let me give a listen to this. Get the tab. Where is it? Starts with a kiss. All right, this should work here. Let me know if you can't hear the music, okay?
Long time since I met you. Your word has always been true. You are such a beautiful view. You bring your love to me too. From the universe you were sent. I know that our meaning was meant. Lucky to have such a great love. I will love you to the end. Starts off with a kiss. You became my bliss. Feels like a fit, making this a wonderful ride.
Yeah, it takes me a second. It's not like with Zoom where I can just like jump straight back in and talk about it. But I want to say I like this song. It's cool. I feel that there's definitely a very unique style to this, and so I think don't change at all what you're doing. I feel like there's definitely a cool vibe. It almost reminds me of Portishead a little bit. One thing I was thinking was, okay, there's a little funkiness with the rhythmic timing of it, and I think it's interesting. Like I like it. I do like it. It took me like a loop or two of it to kind of sink in with it. It was a little kind of jarred me a little bit, and that can be really interesting though. And then when the voice came in, it's a very interesting voice tone to the voice. There's this kind of almost overly processed, but not quite. And then, but the thing is, for me, it was like the vocal performance just a little bit. I would have loved to have the vocal performance, like the singer sing it like 5 or 10% less, like they cared so much. I feel like if it was like a little less detached or a little more detached, emotionally, the vocal was just a little bit more emotionally detached, and that also that was rhythmically just a little tighter. I feel like the phrasings on some of the notes were kind of holding out a little bit too long. There were a couple moments where the timing was just a little bit off as well, that it just kind of like wasn't in the pocket. And but I think it's a very interesting tone. I think that vocally you'll want to, it's at some point for licensing, it can help. It's not like you have to do this, but it would be nice to have a level in the song that's like a bigger kind of like, I don't feel like this is the kind of song that's going to explode. There's different dynamics in different kinds of songs. The song feels like the kind of song that would bloom in some kind of way. So what's the bloom sound like on this? Is there extra vocal layers? Are there more instruments? I think it's like probably a combination of both. I think the instrumental is doing a little more dynamically than the vocal is. So it would be interesting production wise to, tighten up the production a little bit on the vocals in particular, and then see if there's ways that you can give it a little more dynamics with perhaps more vocals. I did like there was an effect that you put on the vocal when everything kind of kicked in, where it kind of felt like it was going in the back a little bit, and I liked that a lot. I did want to say that as well. I think it's a really interesting vibe, and I think go out there and start pitching. I would ask if you are repped by anybody at this point, because if you aren't, it would be interesting to get some feedback from some agencies on your stuff. So that's my thoughts, Bob. I like it. Thank you so much for submitting a track. Let's see. Who's next? All right. It starts with a kiss. We got that. We gave that one a spin. I've been sick for like the last week, by the way, so I'm probably gonna hang things up here in about like 10 minutes. My voice is actually starting to go a little bit. I was in bed for like 4 or 5 days straight, and fortunately Sonnet was really helping out in terms of making sure that everything that we were doing with 2 Indie was really running smoothly. So a big shout out to Sonnet. But yeah, it's just like something going around. Wasn't COVID, but still got a little lingering amount of whatever it is. But it's been good. It's good to get back in action, because last week I could not do it. I was just totally down for the count. All right, let's see. Jenna, are you still here, Jenna? Let me know if you're still here. And same thing goes for Faketa. Are you still here, Faketa? Let me know if either one of you are there. I see the track that you just dropped in here, Morton. Let me give your song a spin. Let's give your song a listen here. All right. Let's check it out. Boom. Here we go.
Empty bottles and cigarettes, climb the tower as far as it gets. Nose is bleeding, my heart's on fire. Don't you know what I desire? Broken dreams for you and me. You try so hard but didn't see the struggle to survive the game. Staying alive is not the same. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I'm so bad.
All right. All right. Cool track. Thanks for submitting that. Okay, Jen is still here. All right, might have time to spin two more then. Just to make sure that I give your songs a listen here. Actually, I'm going to pull down before anybody else submits something. Let me pull down the link there. Okay. So yeah, this is a track from Morton. Hey, so Morton, so I feel this track is it's got some dynamics to it. There's like a drop section that happens about like a minute in, and then it sounds like it drops back into the verse of some type. And it sounds like there's like, it's kind of like a AABA kind of song almost, in that like each of those sections is like a self-contained hook, in that it's got like the verse / chorus kind of cooked into it. I really wanted some more dynamics with this. It kind of felt like it was all at the same level until that drop came. And it was a little bit too long to leave me hanging there. And then I would say with some of this too, for me as a producer, I feel like some of the sound selections are a little, I think the thing I have a hard time doing is identifying like what bucket does this go into? Like what genre of music is this? What are the references? And because I think like depending on the answer of what the references are, then you would pick perhaps different sounds and perhaps different ways of transitioning between sections, and just perhaps even like the styling of the vocal might be slightly different too. I feel like there's also a little bit of a mix issue with this too. I was having a really hard time hearing the vocal, so you're going to want to make sure, especially anything that has a vocal that has vocals that you really want to hear the lyrics. And I feel like you need to hear some of the lyrics here. You don't always need to hear all the lyrics to a song, but I think sometimes it's nice to leave stuff that's a little open to interpretation, or like have the instruments kind of wash it out a little bit. Can be kind of interesting sometimes, but I feel like it's a little too much in this case, a little lopsided, the mixes. So it was really hard for me to make out what was going on in the lyrics there. So that's my thoughts on this track. I think it's a cool track. Again, I think it goes back to actually like what that guy was talking about in the article, that, you know, it's good to do the reference research on things. And, if you do that, then a lot of times the writing and the production is going to happen in such a way that it's easier for people to identify, okay, what is this doing? And then it's just about execution of the production and the writing, and the mix obviously is very important here too. But I like the energy with this. And I think So Bad is also potentially a very good licensable theme. So I liked there's little breathy things in between the so bad. I thought those were cool too. So like little hooks like that, I think, are things that stick out in your head. And then that little drop, the drop that it was for me, it was like the sound of the lead synth was a little on the, I don't know, it just didn't quite sound modern enough and edgy enough. And then it was also just a mixed thing that just like the whole experience of it felt kind of not really hitting me as hard as it should, because the mix was a little bit off. But thanks for submitting this. Hope the feedback helps, and hope you keep making music, man. All right, let's see who's up next. So we've got, thank you for submitting that. Let's see, I got to do a little bit of cleanup here with the extra bobbles and tracks here. Okay, Jenna. Okay, Joe, I don't know if I'm going to have the time to get to your track tonight, but let me see how I feel. Like I said, I'm really running on fumes I was really bedridden for like almost a week. And, but I'm going to see how I feel after I play these other two songs. So Jenna, we're going to play your track now, and looking forward to giving it a spin here. Let me just get it all set up. Here we go.
Put your hand on my heart. I promise you, in these days I will never depart. I'll be here for you. When you're weak, I'll be your strength. If I'm down and out, I can't look to you. We carry each other, 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 carry each other. Oh, we'll carry each other, carry each other, we'll carry each other, carry each other.
Oh. It takes so long for me to get this thing unmuted again. Jenna, that was cool. I like it. That's actually one of the strongest songs I've heard of yours. So congratulations on that. I feel like the chorus is really good and it's not too wordy. And I think it's like, I think one of the things that I've heard with your music over the last like while, because we've been working together for a while here, is that it's been hard to find like the right place for your powerful voice. And I feel like this song works. I feel like this is it's a good genre for you. And I feel like it's a good balance of what's happening. And I feel like the dynamics that you have here going on are really cool. The one thing I was going to say that I was like, if I was doing the vocal engineering on this, I would probably have had you do the enunciation on, or the pronunciation on, put your hand on my heart. There's like a couple of yours. I would have had it be more like put your hand on my heart. Like not like literally saying put your hand on my heart. It's like put your hand on my heart. It's like less put your hand on my heart. It's a little over enunciated and it kind of makes it sound a little less modern to me. But I feel like it's very good. I feel like this is good. Like it's good. But if you did want to make a couple of changes to the vocal, I don't know how cooked this thing is, but if you did want to make a couple tweaks to the vocal, that's the only tweak that I would suggest considering. Just consider it. Is just because I feel like that's for me, anyways. Those were the two lines that like. It didn't derail it for me, but it was like, if I was doing this, I would have probably made that decision instead. But I feel like it's totally pitchable as is. I feel like it sounds great. Sam did a good job with the production on this, sounding really good. And, I just think you're getting better and better and better and better at this. So just keep going, Yeah, I like this a lot. Great job. And you're going to keep just dialing it in, This is like, honestly, like some of the songs that I've heard from you in the past, it's been like, it's been a lot of work to get to this point, but you're really in a point now where things are really starting to come together in a cool way. So, really looking forward. I feel like you've really like with this song in particular, taken a big step forward, just in my opinion. So thanks for submitting that. Glad we got to it. All right. So let's see. I apologize. Is it Faketa or Faketa? Or am I pronouncing, or both of those wrong? It's not Zoom, so I can't get the instant feedback from you. But if you can let me know if it's Faketa or Faketa, that would help me, because I just feel so bad when I pronounce somebody's name wrong. I don't want to play your song right now. It looks like it's a demo. The song's called Another Thing. Let's give it a spin. All right. Here we go. Let's check it out. Oh.
Hey DJ, flip this to the B-side. the mood. Feels better when we're together. Till my gray sky's blue. Trust me, no pressure. Rest assured, you're no fool. With every measure, you give me pleasure. Touch me wherever, cause it's cool. I'm under the weather, like a bad case of the flu. You give me fever, baby. I'm wrapped under you, don't know what to do. Did everything under the sun. But with you, life's just begun. No special occasion. Give you flowers just because. With you, I'm never lonely. Lady, come hold me. Call my name, I come running. Give you my heart, one and only. Come on, put it on paper. Seal the deal with 2 rings. Walk down the aisle with a beautiful smile. See what the future brings. Love, true love.
Yeah, it's a jam. Love it. Hey, that was cool. Like it. So for me, 2 things that I thought. I was like, same thing, mix. So mix, I wanted to hear your vocal better. And I felt like it was kind of, it was getting a little muddy. But I think part of it too is like just the vocal, the part of your vocal, like the meat of the vocal is kind of sitting in the same place as like some of the track elements. So I think that's one of the problems in terms of like it popping is getting it like sitting in the right spot. It made me think, oh, when this track was written, it might have been a cool thing to kind of just see, oh, would it have sounded better for your vocal to bring it up like a step or maybe even a step and a half, just to give your vocal a little bit more of a pop, like just get it a little higher in the register. Cause I think it was like, again, it was like a little, just because it was kind of a low register vocal, it was having a hard time kind of cutting out and it was kind of taking the energy down a little bit for me. But I think it's a cool track, you know, I think it's good, feels legit. I think that, yeah, it's for me, it's about with this one, it's about the mix and about just the select. I think also one thing to think about too is like just dynamically, is there some place in the song, you know, I don't know what your vocal range is or anything like that. And it's like, you know, it's totally fine. You don't have to pop things up into another octave or anything like that. But at some point, is there a place in the song where it kind of goes up and it feels like it's an intentional moment that happens when it goes from like one section of the song to another part of the arrangement where it kind of goes and kicks up into like a higher register in terms of the vocal that'll help kind of lift it a little bit, because it was feeling a little bit in the same melodic range too, kind of throughout the song. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my hands even with the camera. It's like, I apologize. Yeah. Well, so yeah, I see you typed out your name. I can see it again, but it's like, I don't know how it's pronounced. So again, I apologize if I mispronounced it. So, but I like the song. I think it's got, I was dancing a little bit to it. I like it. It's, for me, it's a mixed thing though. And I just think as you're continuing to dial in what you're doing vocally to what you're doing, with the tracks, it'd just be interesting to see, oh, okay, what's that sweet spot where your vocal is really kind of popping out of the mix and it's got the right kind of energy. And it's not feeling like it's a little, you know, when it's a lower register vocal, it can kind of darken the track a little bit. It can kind of, if it's not set in the right place in the mix, the vocal can get a little bit lost, and the energy isn't maybe as big as it would be otherwise. But that's my thoughts. I like it though. All right, let's see. We're going a little bit over time. That's okay. Thanks for submitting the track. And I appreciate, you know, we got some regulars here on Thursday nights. I appreciate you all popping on with me here and talking about music. It's fun, right? Talking about music, talking about sync. Let's see. I think we got time. Let me just see. I don't know if I can. The problem is, Joe, that I don't think I can copy out of here. So if you didn't, I just don't think I can. It's actually, it won't let me select out of here to get your link. So, you know what? I tell you what, if you submit the track, I'm going to pop the banner back up just for a second here. So if you go to 2indie.com/listening session and submit the form, it'll send you a link to the form that we use to grab songs out of. So for the Sonnet does a listening session on Tuesdays, and I do some listening here on Thursday nights. So if you send that through, I can either play your track first if you're here next Thursday, or Sonnet can play it on Tuesday if you like. But yeah, Just I can't grab it out of the chat here for some reason. I don't know why. It just doesn't let me do it. But if you'd like, feel free to submit it and we can get to it next week, or Sonic can get to it on Tuesday. So let's see, anything else? Thanks for tuning in. This has been really fun. Appreciate you all. I'm going to chill out. Like I said, my voice is kind of trashed right now. I was sick for almost a week. But I hope you're all doing great. This year has really flown by, and this is going to be fun. I'll see you next time. All right, everybody. Have a good one.